Welcome back, guys. So today we are going to start coloring our gingerbread house in 1 point perspective. And we are going to do one of Mrs. Shirtle's favorite things. It is called cross-hatching. Move this out of the way for a second. So, we're just going to ignore that for right now. Cross-hatching is coloring in multiple directions. When you look at younger student works, a lot of times you'll see them outline really hard and then lightly color the inside. And that's good. Stay in the lines. It's a part of development. But you, my friends, are in 3rd grade, and it's time for you to learn how to really power color. So basically, when you were in younger grades, I called it power coloring for you. But that was my way of getting you to put a lot of pressure on your crayons, to put a lot of wax on the paper, to get a nice, rich, full coverage with your crayon. So basically, the power coloring equals cross-hatching. So, when you power colored, you might have done something like that. Cool. You got a lot of wax on the paper. Your pigment's really vibrant, and there's a lot of coverage. Cross-hatching is similar to that with a little bit more structure. So, hatching is the process of coloring in one direction. Cross-hatching is coloring in several directions over the same area. So you can tell that my lines are going this way and this way, because I can still kind of see a checkerboard in there. But now if I go in here this way, now I'm starting to lose any of the background paper. I have really vibrant color going on, and I'm really saturating the paper with wax. So this is cross-hatching, coloring in multiple directions to really get good coverage. Depending on what crayons you are using, some crayons are going to provide you a little bit better coverage than others. But any will do, really. I'm using my daughter's. Let me just show you. My daughter's hodgepodge of crayons. We got the jumbo crayons, I think. Oh, yeah, we got a twisty crayon in here. No, it doesn't even have lead. Anyway, any crayons will do. You could also use color pencils or markers if you would like. Or some of my friends might be doing this on their iPad. All perfectly acceptable. So, a few things that I didn't do yesterday and I didn't actually talk to you about. I didn't put any stripes in my candy cane, and you might be wondering why. I don't want a blue candy cane. So I'm waiting until today to color in the stripes. She does. She has a white crayon. Yes. Okay. So the first thing that you are going to do today is color your sky. And I totally thought this was the same color, but I don't think it is. So it's not that I'm putting a ton of pressure on the crayon. It's not that I'm coloring super hard. I'm just being very focused on where I'm coloring. I am going over the same area multiple times. So a trick that many students do without realizing is going back to your younger days when you outlined and then filled it in. So that was a valuable thing to do. Outline and then fill it in. That keeps you from coloring outside the lines. So I am going to continue to color the sky, and when I edit this video, I will speed this part up. All right, so some things you may have noticed while I was coloring. You lose any lollipop sticks you have, which is fine. We will put them back in. Don't worry about it. And I did use scratch paper along the edge when I was coloring, just so that I am not coloring on my table here. I'm sure parents would greatly appreciate if you did not color on your furniture. Okay. Next, we are going to do the ginger roof. So, gingerbread houses, typically, the walls are going to be brown. So I'm going to veer away from brown. I think I'm going to go pink. It is so odd for me to hold chubby crayons in my hand. So this is the undercolor that I am doing here. I'm not applying quite as much pressure as I did here. I'm getting the color down, but I do know that I'm going to be drawing over top of it. So I am not trying to really, really, really press. Ooh, yeah. All right, let's do some shingles, shall we? So if you take a look at this example again, our shingles are basically fish scales or bird feathers or bouncy lines or letter U's, however you want to look at it. So I'm going to start at the top. Now the trick is to make sure that they are slanted. Like, they're not going to be straight up and down. They're going to be running the direction of the roof. As they move back, they are going to get increasingly smaller, remember? Except for that one. That one did not get smaller. And I'm going to go ahead and go over this line real nice and dark. I'm just going to go over one side of the line, I think. Now I'm going to take another shade of pink. Let's see if this shows up. Yeah. I'm going to highlight the left side of these shingles here. I'm sorry, I totally forgot to finish my sentence. Let's do some gumdrops on top. So I'm going to pick out some darker colors now. I have a purple, sure do. Oh my goodness. I really am not pressing that hard. And where the scallops meet, you can put some gumdrops. However, this purple is just awful. So I'm not going to do too many of that color. Let's do some green. Obviously, I wouldn't try to cover this with, like, say, yellow. It wouldn't happen for you. So you're definitely going to want to use darker crayons for the gumdrops. Okay, fit one in there. Just throw one in there. Okay. All right. I'm always keeping this blue that I used handy in case I see areas that need a little bit more retouching afterwards. Onto the gingerbread walls and chimney. So I am going to, if you have more than one brown, great. If you don't worry about it. Ooh. I'm going to show you how to do this with just one brown, and then I'm going to show you how to do it if you have more than one. So with just one brown, I'm going to lightly color my brown in. Lightly, lightly, lightly. Because we are going to add some texture to this. Graham crackers, which is what most people make their gingerbread houses out of these days, have texture to them. They have like a little pattern on them. And since texture is the way how things look like they would feel if you touched them, I guess is the best way for me to explain it. We're going to go ahead and add that in here. So if I do this lightly, I can go ahead back and do a dotted line down. If you have additional brown, you could always add a little shadow underneath the icicles to give it some depth, to make it look a little bit more realistic. So like in the higher peaks of the shadows, I'm putting, of the icicles, I'm putting it in there. And maybe just a little bit around my gumdrops of my windows here. I'm gonna save this. All right. Oh. The only thing that I am going to actually require of you in regards to color is that you color in the windows yellow. So that looks like there's a warm light coming from inside. Clearly, I'm not going to want to have like red windows. That's creepy. Green isn't really a good look. Yellow windows it is. You want to accent this? You have another yellow or even an orange. So I'm going down the left and across and the left and across for a little highlight. And we're losing a lot of our lines, but don't you worry, we're gonna get them back. I'm gonna hold off on doing that right now. I think I'm feeling a green door. All right. We have the sidewalk and then a lot of fun stuff left. So, sidewalk. Yes, it's gray. Do I care if you make it gray? No. This is an orange. Looks like my sidewalk's about to be orange. I'm gonna go ahead and make my steps the same. And kind of accent the bottom of them. I'm doing a little shadow at the bottom of the house. All right, gumdrop time, guys. So Mrs. Shardle literally always has like scratch paper to test out her crayons before she does anything. I don't know if you caught me doing that, but I'm gonna color a couple gumdrops. This pinkish color here. And this lollipop. And then I'm gonna take my darker shade of the same color and where there might be a shadow, so like this gumdrop right here would be casting a slight shadow on this, I'm going to highlight it, or I'm sorry, I shouldn't say highlight it, I'm shadowing it, but, or shading it, but it kind of gives it an extra pop, so if you call it a highlight, I won't fault you. And I'm gonna go around that to give it some depth. Continue this with a couple different shades. This tree here, let's go ahead and do him green. His twists. Now, candy canes. If you have a white crayon, test it out, see if it even shows up. So this white is not terrible, it's not amazing. A couple others in here, let's see. This one's a little better. I think that's the same. In this, in school, we did paint and glitter. Unfortunately, we're not going to get to do that. So it is up to you. If you have paint, if you have glitter, feel free. Other things that you could use, if you have whiteout, of course, ask for parents' permission. Just don't go taking your parents' whiteout and using it for snow. I'm hesitant to tell you anything else really from the kitchen in fear that you might make a mess. So if you have paint, if you have whiteout, and you have your parents' permission, that might be something that you can do for snow. If not, good old white crayons are gonna work. Not amazing, but enough. And we really do not have to put a lot of this in there. If you just kind of get the top of the snow humps or the marshmallow, whatever you have it, whatever it's called, fluff. And honestly, I kind of like that it's smearing the blue. I'm gonna go ahead and put my stripes on my candy cane. Kind of brings the whole thing together, doesn't it? And I didn't even worry about the white there. I'm gonna do a yellow over here with body. So last but not least, because I have to go, is you're going to take your initial crayon and go over all your lines really hard.